Okay, this video is trying to install this door. It's a extra large plastic peg door. It's meant to go in a door, but I'm going to put it in the wall, and I'm going to show you guys just how I'm going to do that. Basically, it came with this set of instructions. In 3 pieces. There is a slide. This is the piece that goes on the outside, and this is the piece that goes in the inside. Those are the 3 pieces. It's a flat with a magnetic on it. Now, the first thing that we need to do is pick a location. I picked this location underneath this window in the kitchen. There is an outlet there, so I'm going to go to the left of the outlet. And on the outside there is a deck. So now, because it has a flap that raises, and if I put the inside part here, the flap is going to interfere with this ledge. So I'm going to build a wood frame that's going to go around here, where this one stands out a little bit more. That way the flap doesn't interfere with the wind, doesn't interfere with the flap. That way it can just go up and down. And on the outside I have vinyl siding, so I got something for that as well. Now to get started, wood frame. What I've done so far is create a makeshift table. It's just a 50-gallon trash can. I put a piece of scrap wood, put another piece of scrap wood. I'm going to turn it into a table saw with a cordless saw to cut the pieces, and I put a couple of screws here to go into the trash can. It's just in the plastic, it's no big deal. So that's my table saw. Now I'm going to start cutting the wood out of this. So I'm going to do a double wood on the inside and a single on the outside. Using my made-up table saw. It's got the rounded corner on one side, and it's got the sharp corners on the other one. What I did is I put this other extra piece of scrap wood that I had. I made it 1.25 inches here gap, and I was able to run the blade. So it's 1.25 inches here gap. I was able to run this blade and cut through. Now I'm going to remove this scrap of wood. I had a screw, I already took the screws out, and then I'm going to use it as a table saw, but for me to cut some angles on the wood to make, I'm going to need a few pieces to go ahead and make my frame. So that's my next step, and I'm going to set the camera to cut those angles. First I'm going to fix my table saw. It was sliding. So what I do is I'm going to put some wood underneath so it doesn't slide anymore. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to mark and do that. So let's see. I'm going to put the wood exactly 2 inches down. When I push the trigger, I use the wire to hold the trigger depressed. There is no button on this one to hold it depressed. And of course, be very careful. I'm gonna put this pieces right here. Just wanted to hold the table in place. Test it out. It's not gonna move. Make 45-degree cuts. I'm gonna mark. I marked the wood. I got a lot of excess and lines. I actually, when I marked all the pieces, I ran out of wood. So I had to remark it differently so all my pieces will fit. I can get out of these two pieces, and that's what I did. I redesigned. I built some frames with the wood that I cut, and I just put some staples and some glue to put it together. That's all the markings. Next is selecting where the hole is going to be. So the hole is going to be over here on this wall. So what I did is I measure, I trace with a pen where I'm gonna make the hole. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a hole 6 by 6, and I'm going to check inside, make sure that everything else is all right, and if there is a problem, then I'm going to I can cover the hole if I cannot get through it for some reason. So I'm gonna make a hole, and then we'll go from there. We created a 6 by 6 hole, and now I'm gonna see what we have inside. Okay, great. I wanted to hit a 2 by 4, and I hit it right on the money. The 2 by 4, that's great. Wow, I hit a 2 by 4 on the top as well. That's really good. And I have a 2 by 4 here. That's gonna be a problem. And the hole is not big enough. We still have to cut to these markings right here. So we gotta cut the 2 by 4. So bring us to over here. There should be a few 2 by 4s in here because this is the frame of the window. And then we have 2 by 4 here and 2 by 4 here, which is good. So I'm gonna cut into this. We're gonna use the cut is only half deep. I have to cut the 2 by 4 all the way through on the side, so I'm going to use a saw blade to do that job. However, I am going to put the other side of the window ½ inch lower, be ½ inch lower here and ½ inch lower here. So whenever it rains this way, the rain has a natural down roll. So that's the plan. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna drill a hole with a pilot bit all the way through here. Make a couple of holes so I can put the hacksaw blade in there. I use this as my guide, and I'll get it through. I'm gonna try and cut it on the other side just the same way, so I can make a nice and even square cut. gonna try and remove this 2x4 instead of cutting it, because I'm cutting about an inch of it anyways. Leaving half inch in there might make sense, but I'm gonna take those nails off anyways. They're in the way. It's made now. It's made to the size that I need. I had to trim this a little bit to the wood, and I had to trim this on the outside a little bit as well. So now I gotta trim the siding on the outside so this frame will fit on the outside. And it's 13.5 inches by 19.5 inches. So I'm gonna go outside, mark, and cut that with a small tool with this right here. Seems to be doing a pretty good job. So here we go. Hole is cut completely. Everything's been trimmed out. So I just need to go ahead and start assembling. It's just raining out there right now. So I'm gonna start from the inside and work my way out. The modification that we need to do is take this off. Once I put this on the back, the door doesn't fit through there, but of course I had that in mind when I made this. So the other thing I have to do is the door is up. This is like a magnet. And this is the cover that goes on the top. It closes. That's why I put this wood frame, so I wouldn't have to cut the window. So this can slide up and down. It's very low clearance there, but it's perfect. After I'm gonna caulk, sand, and paint all of this wood so it'll match the rest of the wall. This for now, and I'm gonna cut this using this. Step on the doghouse is the flashing to cover this hole. What I want to do is both pieces are installed on the front and on the back, and I put staples right through here with the staple gun that I hold that in there, And the wood frame on the outside, I just screwed it to the frame. So now I'm gonna cover this whole thing, top and bottom, with flashing. They sell this flashing in the Home Depot. You can get the one that is aluminum galvanized, or you can get this one that's brown and white color on the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure the inside dimensions. Are going to be 10 1/4 by 16 1/2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double it up on the top. I'm going to make one whole piece. You can also make several pieces and bend them flashing for the bottom piece. I'm going to draw it. I drew it's going to be on the front of it 10 1/4 inches, on the back of it 10 1/2 inches. I traced the lines where I'm going to do the break, and I'm going to break it to where I can use the white side of it. So I already cut the piece, made it 7 inches wide, and get ready to do the first piece. I already broke one piece like this. Now I'm going to break the second piece. It's going to have a wide side and a narrow side. On the wide side, I want at least over 10 1/4 inches.
U shape.
I did make a U shape.
Oh, a small U? I thought you were gonna make a U that goes from this side all the way to this side.
No. Just a small U. Alright, it fits the doggy door finish. I just have to paint. I just have to paint the sides. I tried to do the flashing in one piece, but I couldn't do it. Tried to do 4 pieces. The bottom piece is a U channel, the sides, and then the top one is also a U channel upside down. And let's look on the other side. On the other side, I still have to secure the trim here for the vinyl siding and caulk it, but that's basically what's going to look like. I also have to paint the wood. This is the caulking, and I need to caulk all around these edges right here so the water doesn't go inside. But it's also done. We already trained the dog how to use it, and it was easy to train him using treats and tips. It took like a couple hours, and then he got it. Now he goes in and out by himself, and that's it.